Tell me you went to a really toxic high school without telling me you went to a really toxic high school.
So I went to the bathroom in the middle of physics class. I go in and I see this girl and she's really not doing well. She looks nauseous. I say, "Are you okay?" She says, "No, I'm fine. I'm just gonna like chill in here for a while." I said, "Okay." So I left and then I thought about her and I was like, "Oh my God, I need to go back there." So I go back and I see all these girls from my high school pointing and laughing at her, and she's frothing at the mouth, literally having an OD reaction to something. I pick this girl up, I carry her to the nurse's office, and I'm like, "Nurse, what do I do? Like, do we call 911? Like, I had no idea. I was in shock. And the nurse was like, "Yasmin, don't waste your time on people that aren't worth it." And I was like, what?
Story time. As I've mentioned about like 50 times now, I used to go to private school before I went to high school. And private schools can get away with pretty much anything. We had this thing called the late bus, and it would take you home if you stayed late for after school activities or something. And to get to and from our school, you have to go up this very steep, windy, narrow road. And so they had this bus driver that everybody loved. He was a really nice guy. He was just one of those people who didn't know when to not do something or like personal boundaries. So every time we would go home, he would brake really hard and then start swerving and be like, "Ah, we're crashing." And everybody thought it was really funny. He would also do it on the highway. This one time I fell out of my seat and I smashed my face on the floor of the bus. And I went home and I told my dad, and he was so furious, and he called the school, and I got the man in trouble, and I didn't mean to get him in trouble. But then the next day, everybody on the bus was like, "Hey, can you pretend we're crashing?" And he was like, "No, I can't do that anymore." I felt so bad. Like, should I feel bad though?
So my mom called the school and she was like, "Hey, my daughter's not gonna be in today. She has to go to the doctor." So I wasn't gonna be there for like my first 2 classes. And of course, I had a test in my first class, which I obviously could not be there for. So as soon as I get home, it's after school, all my classes are done, I take the test. And I only got 3 wrong. Hallelujah. So my friend texts me, she's like, "Okay, like let me know your score." So I go on there, and it says I got a 0 out of 40. 0, an F, 0. But I go on there and I only got 3 wrong. So I check Power School, it's like a place where you can check your grades. And she put the test in as an F. So now I have a 23 in my class, and I emailed her, right? And she said, "You weren't in class to take the test, so it's an F."
Throughout elementary school, I would always be that kid who'd be picked up last by their parents. It could be freezing cold and my mom would show up 2 hours later. My teacher already knew this routine, so 30 minutes after school, she'd make me wait in the office. And there was always crazy stuff going on in the office. It'd either be a kid, a parent, or a staff member yelling in the office, sometimes all at the same time. This one time, I was sitting in the office next to the worst kid in our grade. You know, the one who would always get in trouble? Let's call him Jose. Apparently, he was in a big fight, and they were waiting for the other kid to come with his parents. However, the secretary lady thought the fight was between me and Jose. "So where are your parents?" she asked me. "Oh, my mom won't be here in a while." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, I'm always here though. I'm a regular." Well, look at you, all smart. Always that snap. Lo and behold, my mom walks in, and the secretary starts snitching. Like, she pulls a 6'9". Ma'am, your son was in a big fight with this other kid, and we're here to figure out their punishments." And my mom was furious. There's more, like for part 2. So this staff lady tells my mom that I was in a quote-unquote fight, and my mom began to yell at me in the office. "Mijo, ¿por qué estabas peleando con este niño?" I wasn't, I tell her. And Jose, who was actually in the fight, was all like, "Ooh." So I tell Jose, "Dude, it wasn't between us. Please tell her." "Yeah, it actually wasn't." Whatever, at the end, she calms down. On the ride home, though, my mom is asking me questions as if I was actually in the fight. "So if he punched you, would you have punched him back?" Sure, yeah, I would. And when I said I would, my mom summoned her chancla. ¿Qué dijiste? So now I'm in trouble for an imaginary fight. And I'm trying to unsummon her chancla. I'm like, no, never mind. You know I don't condone violence. I know, I'm sorry. I'll do the dishes when we get home. Always hit her with the chores. She finally calms down and puts the chancla away for next time. Ooh, that was the last time I was ever back in the office. I'd just rather wait in the cold after that. By the way, thank you guys so much for all the recent love. I wanted to make this story just one video, but it was way too long. And I did not think part 1 was gonna blow up that quickly. So thanks for your patience.
I'm going to tell you guys about the time I let my entire 4th grade class down. You think I'm exaggerating? You know, I stay up at night and I cringe at this. It's just, why did I do this? Honestly, I guarantee you none of them care. None of them remember. But I remember. It's honestly not even that big a deal. But it is to me. Okay, let's get into it. Picture this. Little 4th grade Joe excited to be going to school because it's December. And what does December mean? Christmas parties. That's one of the things that I miss about elementary school. All of the fun holiday parties. When I become a high school teacher, I promise to bring back the parties. Anyway, my teacher announced we were having a Christmas party. Everyone's like, yay! Okay, but we need people to bring snacks. She let kids volunteer what kind of snacks they could bring. Some kids said they could bring chips. Some kids said they could bring cookies. But there were no drinks. And then I suggested, what if we have hot chocolate? Everyone's like, yeah! My teacher's like, that's a great idea, Jozadak. Are you able to bring that? Yeah, I can bring hot chocolate. My entire class cheering. She was like, okay. Follow for part 2. Okay, so this is part 2 of me letting my class down in 4th grade. So you already know I was assigned the hot chocolate. Super excited, super happy. I had such a big job, big responsibility. And I can't stress this enough, I was the only one bringing the hot chocolate. So when I got home, I asked my mother, Ma, where's the hot chocolate? She goes, right there. So I grab it, and my little dumb said, this isn't good enough. It was the powdered hot chocolate. You know, the ones that come in the can? And I wanted the packets with the marshmallows. So I got really upset. This isn't the hot chocolate. This isn't the one I promised I'd bring. Go! And in my brain, I rationalized that if I couldn't bring the best hot chocolate, then I wouldn't bring any at all. I ended up bringing Chips Ahoy. But that's not the worst part. I walked in, my teacher had prepared a bunch of hot water in cups. It was this giant machine filled with boiling hot water, and she was stirring it. She looks at me walk in and go, hey, did you bring the hot chocolate? No, but I brought cookies.